What's up, everybody? Ben Herman here from ProfitableDJ. We're here at Wedding MBA in Las Vegas in November of 2023, and I'm about to hit the stage in the Aspen room right now to talk to all sorts of DJs about how to ramp up their sales skills. So come follow me. Let's go.
From him, he is Ben Herman.
How's it going, everybody? Can you hear me okay? Awesome, awesome. First and foremost, thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to be on the stage again. One thing I'd love to say is that I really respect all of you here because you are the type of people that invest in yourselves, right? Not only do you invest in yourselves with the finances that you spend on this ticket, but the flight out here, the time investment to come out here as well, to get away from the busy lifestyle that you all live. So can we give a big round of applause to all of you? Who remembers me from last year? Anybody? Quite a few of you? Okay, cool. So one thing that I love to do is, I know that I'm towards the end of the day, it's 4 o'clock now. You guys have been spending a lot of time in the seat all day. What I love to do is just get the blood flowing before I get into my session. So I'd love for everybody to stand up, please. And if you'll have me, okay, if you'll entertain me, on a count of 3, I'd like all of us to do 5 jumping jacks. You guys down? There we go. 1, 2, 3, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. All right, give it up for yourselves. Also, high five your neighbor on your way back to your seat. Make sure to avoid that weird person that's next to you as well, okay? Perfect, perfect. So I'm not trying to be like Tony Robbins here where we're like fist pumping and clapping hard to the music, but there is a little bit of science involved when it comes to getting our blood flowing so that way we get into the learning process, okay? So thank you so much once again for entertaining me. So what I've been tasked to do today is to speak on sales, how to overcome sales objections. Now, by the show of hands, I'd love to find out who here loves sales. Anybody love sales? Okay, that's pretty surprising. Who here hates or strongly dislikes sales? Wow, I'm pretty surprised that there's more people that love sales than that hate sales. Do you only love the revenue? Is that what it is? Yeah. Or is it? Okay, gotcha, cool. What about who feels indifferent about sales? Anybody? Just one person? Cool. Oh, okay, a few back there as well. Awesome. Well, if you dislike sales, a lot of the times the reason why we tend to dislike sales is because we may have experienced a bad sales experience ourselves. We may have had that pushy salesperson or the person that just only wanted to make the sale for themselves versus to try to serve you, right? And so what I'd love to do is redefine what the word selling really means, which is serving. It's not about selling or convincing, it's about serving a person, okay? Now we have value to provide with our entertainment services, and with that being said, it's our moral obligation to serve a person by making sure that we inform them about our services and all the things that the value that we can provide. So that way, hopefully, if you're the kind of person that does a better job than your competitor down the street, that takes care of your customers versus not taking care of your customers, it's your moral obligation to sign that person up with you to save them from having a bad event, okay? I also love what Jeffrey Gittimore said, which is people love to buy, they just hate being sold to. So once again, it really comes down to not convincing, but just merely sharing information about your services and empowering that person, that lead, that prospect, to make the best informed decision for themselves, okay? Now, you may be asking yourself, who the heck is this guy? Because I saw only a few hands raise their hand from last year. So you may be wondering who I am. My name is Ben Herman. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I also happen to own an entertainment company. We'll get into that in just a second. But I have about 25 years of DJ experience to date. In addition to that, also, I generate around 7 figures on autopilot, and then I'm the owner of 5 different companies. I know, I'm starting to get kind of addicted to starting businesses. Let me walk you through those. So one that I'm representing today is ProfitableDJ, which really is a mentorship program that focuses on the business side of this art form, okay? So a lot of us, we tend to be artisans, we know how to rock dance floors, but the skills required to rock dance floors compared to running a successful business are completely opposite. They're completely different, right? And so we meet a lot of DJs that tend to be really talented when it comes to rocking the decks, rocking the dance floors, but they just have an empty calendar, an empty bank account. They're frustrated and they're lost and confused as to what to do next, right? The next one is ProfitFlo, which is our software that empowers you all to run your entire DJ business, which is one login, one software. So we're talking about a phone system, a unified inbox, a website builder, a calendar system, a social media planner, and on it goes. It also has AI all throughout the platform as well. And we have a few happy clients here as well, because I noticed like Andre, for instance, he's like our automation king, by the way, so definitely make sure to pick his brain. That's ProfitFlo for you. Next up, we have my entertainment company, which I actually founded back as a junior in high school, and that happened in Northern California, and I was able to grow that thing to now become a multi-op, and now it's actually running all on its own with a leadership team in place and also an event staff in place. And as a matter of fact, the awesome part is that my general manager and also one of our awesome DJs right here, JJ Richards and JP Nichols, they're actually right here in the corner. They actually came all the way from California to come out here, and they're actually a part of our team, and JJ is one of the fearless leaders that's running the entertainment company. Now, I only have 4 logos for you, so I get it, there's 4 logos, but there's 5 companies. So we actually acquired another entertainment company in Southern California, June of this year, and that actually adds the 4th company to this list, okay? Just don't want you to get confused. And then lastly, we also have DJ University, which really focuses on the technical skills of DJing, right? Of a newbie maybe trying to learn how to DJ and so forth. Now, how many multi-ops do we have here? Quite a few of you, quite a few of you. So one thing that we're actually exploring right now, which I'd love to find out by a show of hands of how much interest you guys may have in this, is that there's no such thing as a platform that actually helps train your employees. Would that be of interest to you, show of hands? Gotcha. Which would hopefully save you some time and so forth, right? So that is something that we're exploring as well, that may be coming out soon in the near future, okay? All right, and then if that's not impressive enough, there's a bunch of other places that I've been, Fox, USA Today. Also, I talked to someone about MEX. Yes, I was at MEX last year. I'll be at MEX again this year in February. Inside the DJ's Vault, of course, Wedding MBA is right there, and also Event Industry Expo. Also, you may have seen some of my content on social media. If you're not following me, love for you to follow me at Ben Sean Herman. That's Sean the Irish way, because my dad was Irish, so S-E-A-N. And we've got an awesome YouTube channel as well with long-form content and short-form content, so I'd love for you to give me a follow there. And then we also have an awesome podcast called The Ben Herman Show, where I've had the pleasure of interviewing actually one of our headliners here, Alan Berg, who's speaking at Wedding MBA today, or this week. Joe Bunn, Rick Webb, all the greats are on the podcast as well. So feel free to check it out on all major podcasting platforms. And then really, I've just had the honor and pleasure of being able to mentor hundreds of DJs all across the world, and that seems to be the thing that I'm the most passionate about right now, because yeah, you know, it's cool to make the money and it's cool to run the businesses, but to actually create a real impact in a person's life, to be able to get them to have that huge aha moment where they've been stuck for many years. Because let's not get it twisted. I hear DJs all the time talk about this. I've been 30 years in the game, right? And there's a difference, right? There's a difference between, like, usually it only takes us about a year, maybe 2 years to learn how to DJ, right? Ourselves. Actually, as a matter of fact, our company trains DJs within 3 months or less, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, 1 year. Well, if you're 30 years experience, a lot of us tend to claim that we're 30 years experience, but really what it is, the real fact, is that we're 1 year experienced 30 times, repeated over, versus being truly experienced 30 real years, which means that you're not the same person that you were last year, right? That you're constantly leveling up, you're constantly learning new skills, you're constantly growing your brain. So I'd love to show you real quick of just Justin Farella, actually, who's one of our licensed partners.
What is going on, everyone? Justin Farella here from Farella Events. and I just needed to record a quick video to really just give a shout out to Ben and ProfitableDJ for everything that he's done and the brand has done for my business. So right now, I'm in my office, guys. This is just, it's so unreal to me to where I am at today from where I was at just 8 months ago. So I signed up in January. It is August 30th right now. I don't know if you can see that. But in just 8 months, I went from working out of my house to having my own office and really just being at an unbelievable level of income and confidence. Like the confidence that I have in my sales, my marketing, my fulfillment has never ever been this high, and it is all to do with Ben and ProfitableDJ. So thank you so much, Ben. Like, check, I got to take you for an office tour real quick. It's a little messy because we've been training today, so we got all this stuff out, but yeah, for anyone who is considering joining the program, just do it. Just do it and implement what is being taught inside ProfitableDJ, and I promise you, you will be so thankful in a few months from now. So once again, thank you so much, Ben. Couldn't have done this without you.
So one thing I want to clarify is I have nothing to sell you today, okay? I get it, he's talking about our license partnership, but literally I have nothing to sell you today. The reason why I actually wanted to include this video was to prove the impact that we're having on DJs' lives, and that's the thing that really gets me excited, right? In addition to that also, like if you see the real happiness on his face, right? I could be up here and claim all I want of how great I am, which I honestly don't think I'm that great, but that being said, it's way more believable, right? To build trust and knowing that like there's actual people that would vouch for what we have to do here. And I'll come full circle with this later in some of the lessons that I have for you today, okay? In addition to that, we have a ton of other reviews just like it, right? And we also put on live in-person events like our ProfitDJ Mastermind, which looks like this.
What a great experience, a full day of nothing but great knowledge, great people.
It's been an amazing time meeting all these amazing, talented DJs wanting to level up their DJ business.
This was my first mastermind, and honestly, it was the best investment that I could have made.
It was extremely informative, fun, to be honest.
It's been a really, really exciting community to be a part of, and I would highly recommend looking a little deeper into it.
Every time we come, we just learn so much information that is going to take our businesses to a completely another level. Did a cold plunge this time, mind over matter.
It was an awesome event. I really appreciate all the attendees, the fellow DJs, the owners. The information I got was very invaluable to me.
From day one, night one, my mind has just been expanding like crazy. So if you're thinking about learning and growing yourself, not just as a business owner, but as a human being, definitely need to come here.
Just want to thank Ben for actually allowing us to come together, and hopefully this won't be the last. We'll see you guys next year.
So we're legitimately on a mission to impact and revolutionize the entire DJ industry. We do that through our coaching platforms, we do it through our software as well, but watch all the other things that are down to come in the next year, in 2024, okay? Like I mentioned, I have nothing to sell you here today, so I wanted to just give you a free gift here because since we're talking about sales, we felt like this might be helpful. This happens to be the actual sales script that we use in our entertainment company that's responsible for generating over $1 million in bookings. If you want access to this for absolutely for free, by the way, this is for sale on our website right now, okay? There's people that literally bought this today with their own hard-earned money, but since you're part of the Wedding MBA, we wanted to hook you up for free, okay? Just simply text the word Wedding MBA, all one word, doesn't matter about caps, just all one word, Wedding MBA. So the number is 702-919-5755. That's 702-919-5755. Now, just for time's sake, I'm going to move on, but I have put the number down below on every single slide moving forward, okay? So let's talk about why I'm here today, which is about handling DJ sales objections. Now, what are the 3 secrets? Well, let's talk about the first secret. The first secret is that the sales process happens well before the consultation. I get it. A lot of us think that like, oh, the second I get them on the phone, the second I sit with them on a Zoom call, or the second I sit in front of them to try to convince them or try to share the information about ID services, that's when the sale begins. No. It happens well before that process even begins. Could you imagine, okay? We're all meeting for the first time, and I got on my knee right now and I was like, hey, will you marry me? Wouldn't that be weird? Right? So why are we doing that to our prospects? Why is it that the second they land on our website and they fill out that inquiry form, we go, hey, would you like to book my services, please? Hey, here's the price, here's my availability, here's upletting and my photo booth and blah, 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 right? Versus actually trying to date them and court them first, okay? So let's talk about that. So it's all about turning strangers into friends. That's the process. We need to warm a person up, right? They're coming to you ice cold, they don't even know who you are, they don't even know if you can help them, right? So we need to actually build trust and rapport up front well before we even talk to them on the phone. And that comes down to turning a stranger into a friend. So what are the 3 common objections that most leads or prospects have when it comes to booking our entertainment services? Price. Look at that. It's like I guessed it. No. Yeah, it's price, right? It's like, I don't know if I have enough money, right? The second one is usually a time delay, which is I need more time to make a decision. I need more time to whatever else, right? To talk to my spouse or my parents about, putting down their credit card. It's a time delay. And then the third one is, will my event be safe with you, right? And hold on for just a second. My watch is just going off right now because you guys are all texting us. So let me just turn this off real quick here. Do not disturb. Here we go. All right, awesome. So will my event be safe with you, right? So how do we overcome the three biggest objections? It comes down to nurturing your prospects, nurturing your leads. So you need to figure out a way, which by the way, incognito way, is by having them maybe text you to get something for free, right? So you need a creative way to provide value first up front to your prospects in exchange for their contact information, for phone number and email address. So that way, now you can actually start the courting process by warming them up and providing a ton of value and education around what you have to offer, right? Exactly. We practice what we preach. That's why I invited you to text first before sharing the slide. I'm just kidding. No, it's truly valuable. I'm telling you, it's truly valuable, okay? So it comes down to educating our prospects, right? Now imagine, they check availability, they go, hey, are you available on my date? What's your price? What's your rates? What's your packages? Blah, 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 right? Comes down to then asking them and providing them information up front that empowers them to make a more informed purchasing decision. So if you know the 3 objections, try to provide education around those 3 objections well before the sales call even happens. So, I don't have enough money. Well, maybe you educate them around that it's actually not that expensive compared to their wedding going wrong, for instance. Another thing that we like to educate people on is financing, right? A little trick, we use PayPal credit. You just go to paypal.com/credit. It's absolutely free to sign. You don't even have to sign up, to be honest. You just start sharing paypal.com/credit to all of your prospects and leads, okay? And you're offering them a financing option where they can literally put down their retainer fee or pay in full with 6 months of no payments and 0% interest. So it's a great way to educate them on that, right? You should also educate them on the scarcity of your service, that legitimately, for all you solo ops, you can only be at one event at a time. So you should probably educate your prospects on, I'm in, like if someone else books me, your date's not gonna be available, right? For your multi-ops, we still have limitations of however many systems, however many crew members or team members we have. So that's one way. The next way is to prove yourself up front. Because remember, one of the objections is or will my event be safe with you? So how do we overcome that? By showing a ton of social proof up front. 5-star reviews, positive video testimonials, right? So when you go to our website, you'll see on the bottom of every single page, hundreds of reviews. Like literally individual, you have to scroll for days just to get to the bottom of the 5-star reviews. Now a lot of you are using carousels on your website. We have your little, one review and it slides over to the next one and the next one. You're doing yourself a disservice. You actually want to make a point of how validated you truly are. Now nobody's going to read 100 5-star reviews, but they're going to scroll and go, oh my gosh, these people are validated. That's what you're trying to create, okay? Now what you can do is with a text message follow-up, with an email follow-up, which by the way, a lot of you who have softwares like GG Event Planner, Honeybook, all the other softwares, ProfitFlo, you can actually set up email sequences and text message sequences, right, that are automated. So you don't even have to send out each individual email to each individual prospect, right? It's just on autopilot after you've created it once. And so it comes down to creating a very intentional nurture email and follow-up sequence or text message sequence. I'd highly encourage you to just email more and then use text message very respectfully, right? Because it feels more intimate. Which is kind of funny, right? Because it's all on the same device. Like we all check email and the text message on the same device, but for some reason, an SMS feels more intrusive, right? So we will be respectful of that and make sure that we only email and very rarely text message, okay? So that's another way to do it, is by then sharing links of, hey, check out, don't take our word for it, check out hundreds of couples that have validated us by clicking on this link. And you just have a web page of all your 5-star reviews and video testimonials, all on one page. Just to make a point, right? You can also educate them around, how vendors love you and so forth. Like you can actually sit down, do a content piece where you record an interview. Maybe you have a venue or favorite wedding planner or catering company. And naturally, when you're talking to them, they're going to naturally validate you in the interview anyways, right? So you can be like, hey, we're going to sit down and just do a content piece on how to book your venue, right? And the venue owner sits there, you're interviewing them, you're asking them a ton of awesome questions. They're going to be able to promote their venue, but they're naturally, because you're sitting in front of them, they're naturally going to validate you as well in the interview, right? So it comes off as, hey, I'm trying to help you plan your wedding. But inside of it, it's also validating you as well, building trust and rapport, okay? And then the last one is, after you've done the nurturing by educating your prospects and also proving yourself up front with a bunch of social proof, you now want to invite them to connect. That's where you can ask for the phone call, maybe to invite them to set up a consultation. Maybe it's you're showing up to the bridal fair locally or a wedding show, right? You're like, hey, we'd love to meet you in person. We're gonna be at XYZ venue next Sunday for this bridal fair. So look for ways that you can actually provide some sort of ways to invite people. Does anybody have any questions so far in regards to what we've covered so far? Any questions? Over here?
I would ask, are there any personality things that you would say, any tips kind of to look for that to help you be able to separate who your buyer is, just kind of whether they're an A-type person, so I kind of need to be more direct, or this is an individual that I kind of have to be a bit more patient. Are there any tips or anything you would say?
So what the gentleman asked over here is, are there any tips around, deciphering your messaging based off their personality style? Maybe a more A-type personality that's decisive versus a person that needs a little more time and has decision fatigue, right? I would say that really you want to try to, address your messaging by hitting all fronts, okay? So the way to look at this, the way that you would draft, let's say, a nurture email, okay, is the very first paragraph you want to write that specifically for the decisive person, okay? The further down on the email that you go, you want to then address more information for the more cautious buyer, the person that needs more information, right? Because I understand, I'm a D, by the way, if you guys know about the DISC profile, D-I-S-C, right? D stands for decisive, determined. I happen to be a high D, so I don't like to think about things, I just like to act, right? And so I'm the person that if you send me an email, I'm not going to finish it, I'm going to read the first paragraph, maybe glance to the PS, and then move on, right? So that's how to kind of address that. Answer your question? Good, cool. All right, thank you for your patience, and thank you, AV, for getting my slides back on. So sales is all about positioning, right? It's about making sure that it's not such a push, it's more of a pull. In other words, you want to attract prospects to you. Once you've attracted them, you want to make yourself so attractive that they desire to buy, that they don't need to be convinced to purchase. Right? So remember, selling is not about convincing. Now, most newbies, most inexperienced salespeople, that's all they focus on. And that's one of the reasons why sales gets such a bad rap, is that most people are sick and tired of trying to be convinced and sold to, right? So we want to change the game, which comes down to educate, prove yourself up front, and create a desire where they want to purchase your services. You know what we all have in common? We all have in common that we actually love to buy. Do you agree with that statement? That if you really think about it, how many of you have purchased something and you're so antsy with anticipation you can't wait for that box to show up from Amazon or from wherever, right? We're excited. And salespeople on a car lot get a huge bad rap. But how many of us have purchased a car and we're so excited about purchasing that car once we've decided on the car that's a good fit for us? So in the end, we actually all love to buy. So half the job's done for you. You just need to play your moves right. That's all it comes down to. Okay? Secret number 2 is you're not too expensive. Ooh, I see some hairs raising right now. How many of you believe that you could raise your prices right now? How many believe that you shouldn't raise your prices?
Shouldn't?
Okay, a few of you. You shouldn't. Like you're like, no, I'm already too expensive, I don't, blah, blah, blah. No? Cool, well first and foremost, you know how fast you can change your prices? Right now. Because here's the cool part, is yeah, with return clients, they get to see your last year's contracts or last month's contracts and so forth. But we're here at Wedding MBA, so we're talking about engaged couples, or engaged for the first time most likely, right? Possibly a second time, possibly a third time, but they don't know your pricing. So because of that, you can literally raise your prices right now. And all of you that are raising your hand, or raise your hands, which were a lot of you, why aren't you raising your prices then? If you already know that you're supposed to raise your prices, why aren't you raising your prices? And hopefully after this section, it'll help you out, boost your confidence. So there was this experiment done, okay, with hundreds of people that were surveyed. And they all were placed in front of 3 bottles of wine, okay? The first bottle was labeled as cheap. The second bottle was labeled as average. And the third bottle was labeled as expensive. Now, out of curiosity, after everybody surveyed, taste tested each bottle, right? Which bottle would you say a majority of people said tasted the best? Expensive, 3 through 3? Yep, most expensive. Would we all say like the general consensus is the most expensive bottle tastes the best? Yes, right? Now here's the crazy part, is that the wine in every single one of these bottles was exactly the same. Right? It's perception. Value is perception. And because of that, our entertainment services, yeah, I get it. If you study your competitors, you're always going to be locked down to your competitors' pricing. You're undervaluing your prices, by the way. What you should do instead is price so dramatically high above any competitors that people have to turn their heads and goes, well, they must be different. Right? Here's another example. Let's say I was selling a used Ferrari. And I told you, hey, want to buy this Ferrari for 500 bucks? What's the first question you would ask? What's wrong with it? Right? So by undervaluing your rates and not charging enough, when I say enough, astronomically, like so much to the point where it makes you feel uncomfortable, okay? You're sending that message out in the marketplace. What's wrong with this DJ service if they're the cheapest on the market? I don't know. My wedding's a one-time kind of day. I don't want to take that kind of risk, right? I'd love to have someone participate with me. Do we have a microphone, by chance, for the crowd? Who would like to volunteer? Right here. Okay. As you see up here, if for every dollar you pay me, I agree and guarantee to pay you $10, how many dollars would you give me of yours?
Whatever I have.
Whatever you have. Yeah. Okay. What about the second scenario? if for every $100 you pay me, I guarantee to pay you $1,000 in return.
That's cool.
How many dollars of yours would you spend?
All of it.
As much as you could, right?
What money just to give you money too?
You're starting to see a pattern here? Okay, what about this one, the third one though? This might be a little different. What is if for every $1,000 you pay me, I agree and guarantee to pay you $10,000 in exchange? How many dollars of yours would you pay?
That's cool.
That's cool? But how many dollars would you spend of yours?
Spend everything.
Everything.
Spend my grandma's money.
Gotcha, okay. Now let me ask you this, Wes. Out of all three scenarios, 1, 2, and 3, which one would you choose first?
Honestly?
Yep.
Number 2.
Why 2?
Because you pay me $1,000, that's great. You pay me $10,000, that's great. You pay me $10, that's great. You're paying me, doesn't matter.
So you would choose number 2?
Yes.
That's interesting. Most people actually choose number 3, right? Because you get there faster. You get to wealth way faster by choosing. So I can tell, like, you know, you might be playing it safe, which is still, I mean, either way you're not losing. If I guarantee, right, $1,000 in exchange, yep.
But I'm not playing it safe. I like the long run, because you can get anywhere fast, but you can lose it faster. If you grow over time, if you build something over time, it's more rewarding in the long run.
Okay, good point. Love it. Give it up for Wes, please. Awesome. Yeah, you can leave the mic right there. AV, some gentleman over here wants to take the microphone. Let's see what he has to say. What's your name?
My name is Greg. I'm from Minnesota.
Nice to meet you, man.
What's happening, everybody? Listen to me. Out of 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to go with number 3 because it's simple. It's more money. If I pay you more, you pay me more. Is that right? Am I the only one that sees this? If I pay you $1,000, how much am I going to give you? Every $1,000 I got. I will borrow extra $1,000 to get that $10,000. Come on.
Especially if it's guaranteed, absolutely. Thank you very much, man. Give it up for him.
All right.
So here's what's interesting, right? Can we all agree? You know what would be really cool is maybe after this, or maybe at the party tomorrow, we have Wes and him get together and debate. That'd be great. Anyways, that would make great content. Take a note, video guy. Okay, so that being said, we all can agree though, right, that most of us, and Wes including, right, even though they had different points on 2 or 3, that every single one of them would agree to pay as much as they possibly could. Right? The point I'm trying to make here is that if value exceeds price, price doesn't matter. So if you're insecure about raising your prices, provide more value. Okay? In addition to that, when you educate your prospects and you provide them social proof on 5-star reviews, positive video testimonials, you have to actually do a good job in order to earn those, correct? So if you're a crappy DJ, step your game up. That's all it comes down to, right? It's like, it doesn't mean that you have to stay a crappy DJ forever. It just means that you have to work on your skills, work on your customer service to make sure that you exceed expectations so that way you can predictably get a 5-star review and video testimonial. Honestly, it's not rocket science. If you do more than what they've paid you for, they will give you a 5-star review and a great video testimonial. And they'll send you a ton of referrals on top of that, right? All right. Secret number 3, stay unattached to the sale. All of us are so attached to the sale. We're like, oh my gosh, I need this booking to come through because I need to pay for the phone bill or for that new Rev 5 or 7 or whatever else, right? That new controller. And the thing is that you're making it about yourself instead of about them, right? Remember, great sales is serving, it's not selling. So if you're truly serving, you actually have their best interest in mind over your own. Okay? So it comes down to making sure that you provide a ton of value up front, a ton of education, so that way you de-risk them purchasing from you over another competitor. Simple as that. Let me give you, this is actually something that I didn't plan, but let me give you a personal example of mine, okay? So I met my wife 4 years before before marrying her. And the thing is that, like, I was young and dumb, and I was in it for me, and I was like, oh yeah, you're cute, like, let me take you out, blah, blah, blah. And she said no, 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 for 4 years, by the way, right? I was pretty persistent. I wasn't a stalker, by the way, okay? There's like months in between before I hit her up, okay? But then something weird happened around 25 years where I had like this, just self-reflection moment. And I realized that, well, I've made it about me, and most of us tend to do that, right? Who can relate to me when it comes to the person that you were searching for back in your dating days had to be of a certain height, had to be of a certain looks, had to be, funny, smart, whatever else, right? And I know, like, especially you ladies, like, do you guys have that? Like, where you're like, I need a guy to be tall enough? Have you guys ever had that? I know you have, because I've been rejected by you before. So, that being said, once I actually made it about asking a question, hey, I need a dime piece that looks a certain way, that's funny, that's smart, that is of a certain nature of a person, and instead turned the tables around and made it about how can I be the best husband to that person, even though I don't even have a prospect right now, but can I prepare myself right now to be the best partner, the best boyfriend, best husband, whoever. Once I did that and I met her again and ran into her again, you know what was crazy? Is that she proposed to me after 2 months of dating, okay? So I'm telling you, like, on a personal level, this works as well, okay? I wasn't manipulating her, by the way. It's just that I truly made it about service to her versus about me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so thankful that we're in such a great marriage. By the way, is she here right now? Well, let's start here. She might be hiding out, by the way. Oh, she's in the back. Give it up for my wife. You know the best decision I ever made? Saying yes to her. Awesome. So how do we stay unattached to the sale, though? Because I understand, right? We do have this need to actually get enough bookings in to pay the bills, to stay afloat, to stay alive. In addition to that, for those of us that are luckier, we might already be staying alive and staying afloat and so forth, but we want to grow. We want to scale our companies, right? And so there's a thing called the law of averages, which means that predictably, based off 10 people that I speak with, my company will close 4 of them, predictably. Which means if you understand your conversion rate and you start tracking your metrics and you start seeing a pattern that's literally predictable. For many years, we were actually stuck at 35% and we actually increased it now to 40%. I think 42. JJ, is it 42? 40? Something like that. So we've raised our conversion rate over time. But predictably, we knew for every 10 prospects or leads that we speak with, we're going to predictably close 3 to 4, which means you'll actually take the no's less personal. Because when you actually understand the law of averages, you'll know, oh, okay, cool. Well, I know particularly like for 10 people that I speak with, X amount will say no matter what. Because I'm too expensive, I'm not the right fit, they're not the right fit, and so forth. JJ can actually attest to this as well, that in our consultation, you know the first words that we say? I say, nice to meet you, blah, 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 right? My job here is to provide you as much information up front as possible so you can make a well-informed decision. By the way, we want to provide you as much value regardless if you decide to book with us or not. And if we figure out that we may not be a best fit, believe it or not, we'll actually refer you to one of our competitors. If you take the stance of not being so desperate, okay, of I need this booking, please, like, look, I know he's charging XYZ down the street, I'll beat his price right now. And you go, cool, go with him, go with her, go with a cheaper option, right? When you take that stance, it says something about you. Remember, sales is about positioning. So let's talk about the conversion rate. If you guys aren't tracking this, please write this down. There's a writer down right here. You want to make sure to start tracking your sales conversion rate, okay? What it comes down to is bookings, the amount of total bookings that you have, divided by the leads that come into your company equals your sales conversion rate. Let me break it down in simple terms, okay? Let's say you have 100 bookings in your CRM right now. You log into your DJP, your Honeybook, right? You look at all the bookings for last year, 2022, I guess, maybe 23. I mean, it's almost the end of the year, so you can still look at 2023 numbers, right? You log in and you look at all the bookings. Boom, that's your total booking number. Then you go to the leads and go, how many leads came into my company, right? As long as you're using a smart software, you're gonna be able to easily track leads because you just have a form on your website, they fill it out, the second that they fill it out, boom, that person becomes a lead. Let's define what a lead means. It's a person that you can get in touch with, right? So that has shown interest in your services and that you can get in touch with. They have exchanged some sort of contact information with you, phone number or email address, okay? So 100 bookings, divided by 300 leads equals 33% conversion rate. Right? On your calculator, it's going to show up as a decimal point, and that ends up becoming 33%. Which, if you look at this, guys, okay, 300 leads, that means you've had 300 conversations potentially. Some people, actually it's not 300 conversations, because some people you have actually, they've ghosted you, right? But of those people that you touched base with on the phone or wherever, right, that you had a conversation with, a lot of those still didn't book. Don't take it so personal. In order to win the game, like I remember, who here knows Joe Bunn? He had like the wedding keynote presentation that he sold. If some of you signed up, he actually shared his sales conversion rate in that presentation, 25%. Which means for every 10 people, it's 2 to 3 bookings. For every 4 people, it's only 1 booking. So majority say no. And would you agree that Joe Bunn's a winner in the entertainment space? Right? He runs a very successful multi-op. Right? Same with us. We actually look at the minority to win the game. All right? So let's talk about performing the consultation. So you understand, right? All the sales had to happen on the front end before the consultation even happened. Now, my final slides come down to the consultation, which is pretty easy stuff, okay? One is that it's all about choreography. This is how to stand out apart from your competitors, okay? It's about a methodical process, tone fluctuation, and the tiny little nuances that make you different, right? So this is the last minute thing that I decided to add to my speech here, is I literally picked up this belt that I'm wearing today at a store. It's called Hermes, pretty high-end store, right? And when I walked up to pick up my belt, I couldn't even walk in the store. I was actually greeted by a person that looked like a security guard because he all suited out. He literally had a little like earpiece as well, but he was a host. It's like, welcome, blah, 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 right? And I had to wait in line before I could even enter the store. What kind of store does that? Wouldn't you want to actually let people in as fast as possible so that way they get purchase from you? No, they are actually like, hey, they literally had the stanchion, like the airport stanchion lines where you had to stand in line. Because what they're doing is they're waiting to pair you up with your personal concierge that's going to follow you throughout the store to be your personal shopping assistant. The sales process wasn't pushy. They never even suggested anything. They're just like, hey, what questions can I help answer? And I'm like just perusing around the store and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. Tell me more about that, right? And all they were doing is just simply giving information. That's it, okay? So, sorry, just for time, because I see him walking up here, I gotta move on. But just look at the tiny nuances of how you can stand apart. Take more of the approach of a pull versus pushing yourself onto people and prospects, okay? It's about listening, right? We're given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen twice the amount that you speak, okay? So diagnose the problems by asking really good questions of what problems they have that you can solve, right? Hey, I need sound coverage for my wedding ceremony out in the middle of somewhere where there's no power, right? So you want to diagnose the problems. Then you want to prove that you've listened by actually restating what they said, right? Oh, so I can tell that you're going to be out in the middle of like wherever and you're away from power. Well, good thing is we have a wireless sound system, blah, 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 right? And then you want to peel back the onion, meaning that you don't want to just take the surface level answer, but you want to be like, tell me more about that. Because a lot of times people will just regurgitate kind of a simple answer until you really get down to the bottom of it. What's the true reason why you're hiring a DJ in the first place, right? Because a lot of times it's not just about playing music, it's about, you know, my family and friends are going to be all in the same location for the first time in the last 10 years. That's why. And I want to make sure and guarantee that I have a great time, right? And then lastly, it's about sharing the information, right? So merely share. So if you've ever been to like an awesome new restaurant in town, and you're like, man, the service is great, the prices are great, the food's great, blah, 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 you're excited to share that information with your friends and family. So offer that same enthusiasm when it comes to sharing your services. Is to have that, hey, you know, I have this really great thing that I just want to share with you because it's valuable to you. It's not even valuable to me, it's just valuable to you, right? Then stack the value, which comes down to not just saying, hey, so you can have the platinum package for $3,000. Cool. What does it have? A sound system, right? Actually stack the value. So a lot of us aren't stacking the value on an estimate or a proposal where it actually shows the line items of all the different things. We include equipment like vertical truss and movers and sound system. What about setup and breakdown? That's legitimate man hours and woman hours that we actually have to pay for, especially as multi-house, we understand that. We're actually paying our staff to set up and break down, right? But even if you're a solo op, it's still your time, it's still valuable, right? What about driving? Even if you don't charge your clients for X amount, 25 miles, 50 miles round trip for free, you still want to show that value because that is legitimate gas or electricity that you have to pay for. So you want to actually include all that value in a value stack, okay? And then lastly, it comes down to having childlike curiosity, okay? So when people ask questions and they're not ready to book, just have childlike curiosity and be like, oh, tell me more about that. Like, oh, I need to think about it. Oh, you need to think about it? What questions do you have that I can help you work through together, right? Have childlike curiosity. Words of the wise, and I'll be done, is present benefits, avoid features, right? Don't talk about DJ jargon stuff, vertical truss, uplighting, blah, blah. We call them lighting towers. Okay? Keep it very simple. Another thing that we also like to do is we like to talk about the benefits, not the features. So lapel microphone at your ceremony, why is that important to the client? They don't care. They don't care 12-inch to 18-inch subwoofers. They don't care about wireless versus handheld microphone. But when you explain it this way, where you're like, could you imagine having a handheld bulky microphone on a mic stand in the middle of every single ceremony photo of yours? That's the difference. Right? It's sharing the benefits, not the features. Okay? Use the word investment instead of price. And then also present investment in double digits, which is like if it's $2,350, or yeah, $2,350, you say $2,350. Right? Instead of $2,350. And then discounts using full values. $132.50, right? So say it out loud, make it sound larger, okay? Awesome, that is my speech today, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. As a friendly reminder, you can gain access to our sales script that has generated over $1 million in bookings simply by texting Wedding MBA, all one word, to 702-919-5755. Thank you all so much for your time, really appreciate it.